Hi, my name is Christopher Ford. I'm going to be singing a song for you guys called Palimpsest, which is a very weird name for a song, but it comes from ancient times when you would be using papyrus, and the same note might be used for several different messages, and so these ancient sheets of papyrus would get all of these scrawling sentences and lots of words written over and over and over each other, and the name for this sort of amalgamation of several different lines of text is palimpsest. And the tune and the song itself is something that came to me when I was walking down Commercial Drive, and I was a long way away from my bus, and this melody started going through my head. For those of you who are not keeping score, for those of you who cannot see through doors, for those seeking out something to care for, I have never been this old before. 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 I've never been. The songwriting process for me typically involves either something is sort of going through my head and I just have to get it out, or I just decide, hey Chris, it's been a while, you need to write a new song, and I'll sit down with the guitar and I'll just figure out something harmonic or something fingerpicking that is interesting and intriguing to me, and then I'll sort of do the Paul Simon thing where I'll just hum along and a melody will come out, and then I just sit down and I lock myself in a room and just get out a rough draft of the song on paper. And I usually end up going back and revisiting words here and there, but it's interesting how closely the final draft of a song in terms of the lyrics ends up matching that initial scrawl that you just sort of stream of consciousness come out with. Gosh, my first introduction to music was probably when I was very, very young. My mom likes to say that I was singing before I was even talking. I don't know if that's true or not. I trust her. She's a very trustworthy person. But, my earliest memories of it were my dad played guitar. And, this is so wholesome, but if we were very good boys, then he would break out the guitar and he would sing us some Valdi songs. He was a big Valdi guy. And I didn't know the songs and I didn't know the music, but as a little kid watching this guy with the guitar, I guess I sort of had this romantic image of it. I have never been this old before. I've never been. Never been. Never been. Never been. Never been. Never been. Yeah. I mean, my home. I guess I have a bit of a funny story there because I've just moved around a lot. I was born in Washington D.C. And my parents I don't know what they were doing. They were always moving. So we ended up in North Carolina for the first 8 years of my life, and then we moved up to Calgary when I was about 9. I think my dad had a choice of either going to Calgary or to Texas, and he figured I'd rather be cold than hot, and so he came up to Calgary, and I grew up there for most of my life. Calgary is a beautiful city. It's easy to knock it because it's cold and it snows a lot, but it's so beautiful, and it really is like the little city that could. Don't let this go to waste. Please. so hard. We have fought so hard, and just like every good soldier, we've got to soldier on. They are pouring through the borders. We won't sleep till they are done. We are polished to perfection, hands tucked tight behind our backs, hiding bruises under helmets, running laps around tracks. Yeah, Heroes and Heathens is an EP that I've been working on for about, 6 months now. The songs, maybe even a little bit older than that, but I was in the studio. This was actually my first time not just recording my own work and sort of letting other people be involved in the creative process, and working with some producers. And that had its positives and negatives. I think you see on the first track that Steady at the Wheel, that there's a lot more instrumentation. I was able to do a lot more cool things with it because I had sort of that outside eye. But is that necessarily the Chris Ford take on Steady at the Wheel? I don't know. It would be fun to sort of go back and revisit these songs just as my own producer when I have a little bit more knowledge of the studio, because frankly right now I just don't. So it's been so helpful to be able to work with these people, but at the same time you really are giving up that creative side. We have fought so hard. We have fought so hard, and I remember what they told me when they first gave me the gun. They said, child, you've got a choice now. You can stand and fight or run. And I've been running ever after, ever faster, ever long. Just like every good soldier, just like every good soldier. So please, don't let this go, don't let this go to waste. Please, we have fought so hard. 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 Yeah, my musical influences growing up, I didn't really get into popular music until high school. I just listened to classical music and just, I don't know, I was a weird kid in that way, I guess, but I never listened to the radio, never listened to pop music. And then my brother, when I was 14, gave me for Christmas an Our Lady Peace CD. And it was just, like, I didn't listen to anything else for months. Like, I had it in repeat in my Walkman, just constantly. It was Naveed by Our Lady Peace. And in Calgary, you either listen to rock or you listen to country, and so I came down on the rock side of that, and it wasn't until maybe the last year that I was in high school that I really got into old folk music and Cat Stevens and Bob Dylan, and my one buddy was super into Crosby, Stills and Nash, so I think at one point I learned every single Crosby, Stills and Nash song on guitar. It just took off from there. Take it easy. You're still young, that's your fault. There's so much you have to go through. Find a girl, settle down. If you want, you can marry. Look at me, I am old, but I'm happy. I was once like you are now, and I know that it's not easy to be calm. You found something going on. It seems like I'm always up to a lot of stuff when I'm not making music. Right now, I'm actually attending some classes up at Capilano, which is why we're here.
And I worked for a software company, which is not that exciting, but it pays the bills. I have a beautiful wife who takes up a lot of my time, and I'm very grateful for it. When I can, I get back to see family and friends in Calgary.
Same old story. From the moment I could talk, I was ordered to listen. Now there's a way, and I know that I have to go away. I know I have